Since the start of development, I've been asked a lot of questions about my game. But the biggest, most important one has never fully been tackled in a devlog so far. Why are we actually making an open world monster catcher game? I mean, is creating an RPG centered around collecting creatures and battling enemies really in need of adding the feature to traverse an open world? Are these games not usually focused around a compelling story and a sense of progression? Why make an open world RPG? Open world games, while usually being a more sandbox experience, being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, there is definitely a lot that can be offered in this type of experience. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with my game or my channel, over the last 3 years, I've been developing a game called Monster Tribe, which focuses on an open world full of monsters to battle and collect, along with puzzles to solve and areas to explore. With us being in the final stretch of development, prior to launching on Steam, I decided to revisit certain aspects of the game's design and explain why certain features are integral to the game's overall philosophy. Monster Tribe is a game focused on exploring a vast and varied island, which is falling to ruin after centuries of abuse to the island's natural ecosystem. This is explained throughout the game's 5 main quest objectives, with godly beasts uncovering the truth of your ancestors, how they had created this catastrophe in the first place, and why these creatures have a cynical relationship with humans' natural greed for power and progress. We decided an open world mechanic would work really well with this type of story, as every legendary beast you speak with gives you a small piece in a larger puzzle as to what the story is truly about, giving a sense of pride in the player for uncovering what's truly going on beneath the surface. I grew up playing Pokémon games, which has definitely been a huge inspiration for the project's initial development. But there are many flaws we've seen in the aspect of traversal, even up to the newest iteration being the Scarlet and Violet games. In these games, Game Freak has promoted the experience as an open-world adventure similar to what we have been promoting for the last few years. Sorry guys, we did it first. But while I've enjoyed my time with these games, it never really felt like an adventure I could actually do what I want with. There is no level fluctuation or sense of real direction, meaning that if you decide to go to an area that is above your current level, there's nothing really giving you any kind of aid to change the difficulty. I was left just scrolling through forums on seeing what the real order of completion actually was, fighting areas from easiest to hardest to avoid overleveling in certain areas, which, if I did do that, would create a pretty problematic gameplay loop. While I'm not saying my game found the exact solution, we had taken an extremely different approach. In our game, instead of creating a level for each area for players to somehow just intuitively figure out, we have created a system in which the island evolves alongside your progression to create a truly diverse playthrough. The more you progress through the main story objectives and level your monsters, the harder the game gets, making sure that the player always feels challenged, but never cheated or having an area be completely inaccessible due to a random level cap or unconventional means. There are many other traversal mechanics we have included to create a unique experience, from needing to rebuild docks to fast travel as a way to progress through the game's zones, to using tool upgrades and resource collection to unlock secret areas or extra loot. We wanted to focus the experience on creating an experience where possibilities are pretty much limitless. If you want to pass the boulders and get to a secret tunnel covered in the cliffs, just get the tool upgrade and mine down the rocks yourself. You saw a sign on the map about an area that sounds cool? Follow the signs and go there. Whatever your heart desires, do what makes your experience appropriate for you. I love a game that can tackle its gameplay from different angles, so creating a non-linear RPG with an adaptive storyline was a huge success in creating a unique project in my eyes. Another very important aspect of our game is not just exploring an open world, but collecting valuable items and creatures for that extra sense of accomplishment and progression. Monster Tribe has over 70 plus monster designs, with an interesting mechanic of mutating creatures with specific items and resources you will collect along your journey to change the biological makeup of a creature for tons of new designs. With all mutation forms included, we're looking at over 300 plus monster variants. So yeah, variety is definitely not lacking in this indie game. But besides monster mutations, what is the point of collection and loot? Are these essential components to Monster Tribe's gameplay loop? Short answer, yes. Between the DNA mechanic of needing resources to revive creatures to fight on your squad, to the broken bridges, statues, docks, and stairs you can rebuild using your materials to access new areas, find secret chests, and unlock new fast travel options. Items are essential to not only the collection aspect of the game and unlocking monsters, but also the exploration and progression of the game. I'm a huge fan of games that do loot collection correctly. In a lot of games I've played, you can obtain a wide variety of items, and oftentimes, these items can end up being completely useless and quite overwhelming when the player looks at their inventory with 1,000+ unique materials and items. We wanted to make sure that collecting loot was not only a fun experience, looking at games like Stardew Valley and RuneScape for inspiration, but also that every material and item you collect is meaningful and used for a specific, important purpose. I find that in most indie games, you need mechanics that are intuitive and feel impactful. If you're putting fishing in your game, it should feel like an essential part of that gameplay loop. Between mining, harvesting, fishing, and woodcutting, we have managed to make materials very fun to collect while acquiring new tool upgrades for more complexity to the collection mechanic by adding locks behind certain materials until those tools have been unlocked. There are also the options of crafting with the blacksmith, trading at the markets, and even selling your items for more currency if you're in a pinch. But in the comments down below, I'd love to hear your thoughts on important mechanics you've seen in open world games. Obviously, we can't cover everything in this game, but for me, resource collection and secret areas are a high priority on my list, which is why loot and collection has been so important throughout our game's development. Now, real quick, I just want to share a word about the sponsor of this video before we go any further. Thank you, Brilliant, for sponsoring today's video. Brilliant is an amazing knowledge-based program designed to help you learn through interactive experiences. They've got courses specialized in math, science, and computer science. From brushing up on subjects taken in your schooling like geometry, physics, and algebra, to more advanced subjects not taught in most standard schooling curriculums like calculus, light filtering, and so much more. Learn how to code in Python to start developing video games and apps, or see what a simulation of Earth's magnetic field really looks like. The best feature is the way they've created a skill leveling and XP gain aspect in their program. It really helps incentivize users to continue learning and gives a sense of progression to learning. There's so many courses to choose from to get you started, with an importance on learning for all skill levels. Whether you're in high school needing help with mathematics, or far past your years of schooling looking to learn something new or start a new base of knowledge for a career change, Brilliant has everybody in mind. To try out Brilliant's full array of services free for 30 days, check out the link in my description at brilliant.org/Reece, which will additionally land you 20% off your first year for the first 200 of you to sign up using my link. Thanks again for being such an awesome sponsor, Brilliant, but back to Monster Tribe. I've been developing Monster Tribe for over 3 years now, and finally seeing the finish line is both an accomplishment and also a very intimidating feeling. We're launching within the next couple months, and between the countless delays and this being my first real commercial project, it can be really scary actually getting major public feedback for the first time. But at the end of the day, I really hope that you all enjoy playing the game when it comes out. Until then, I respect you all for waiting so long for this finished product, and I can't thank you enough for the patience you've all had with the delays we've set in place to make the best version of this game we possibly can. The next video that will be out on my channel will probably be talking about the new Monster Tribe release date trailer that we've been working on, of course showing off some new mechanics and areas. So if you're not subscribed, just make sure to do that so you can actually see this new trailer when it launches very, very soon with the actual release date of when this game is coming out for real.